Hello, it's me, Vicki Marie. Do you like this? Apparently it's International Headwear Week or something, so Rustic Rach says, so I'm trying to keep up. I've got no hats. I wore my tinfoil hat, didn't I, for the Elisa Lam case. And I feel like I should be wearing that again tonight with the Jill Dando case, but I couldn't face putting it on because it's too hot. It makes your head too hot. It's really hot here. It feels again like we're going to have a storm. So anyway, I put this on because I found this, dug it out, and I may have to. So I just want to tell you, as always, chaos will probably kick off any minute because I'm waiting for a shopping delivery. The dogs will be changed over soon and the big dog will be coming down. I'll have to take this off when the poor guy comes with the food delivery because he'll think, what the hell has she got all dressed up like that for? Just for a food delivery. But anyway, so just to warn you, it might all kick off any minute. The doorbell will probably ring, everything will go crazy. So we're going to talk about Jill Dando tonight. And, a lot of people have requested this case, in the time that I've been doing videos, and I've always sort of resisted doing it because it's one of them. It's one of those, like Nicola Bulley, isn't it? Elisa Lam, Jean-Benet Ramsey, Madeleine McCann. It's one of those that you feel will never, ever be resolved, and it makes your head hurt. The more you try and look into it, all the rabbit holes that you go down, all the different things, all the different theories that people have, and you feel in the end it just gets so intermingled with everything. You think, is that deliberate? So that you just, in the end, you haven't got a clue what's really going on. So that's the reason I've sort of held back from doing it, because I didn't want to get into that sort of mind-numbing zone. But the reason I am doing it, and I had every intentions of doing it when this happened, of course, there's been other things going on still with the Nicola Bulley case, the Russell Brand thing, the ex-bully dog. But within the next couple of days, there's a new documentary coming out on Netflix about this case. So I thought, look, I need to do it now because otherwise it feels like I'm just doing it because of the Netflix documentary. I've always been meaning to do it, but I feel like I want to say my thoughts before that documentary comes out. Just so that you know that these are my thoughts without the influence of the documentary. Okay, so let me first say hello to everybody. Don't forget to like. And again, you're all chatting, which is always good to see. So hi, Princess. Hi, Chumba. Hi, Desi. Hi, David. Hi, Persephone 5. I said it properly that time. Hi, Ray. Hi, Daisy May. Hi, Bad Fairy. Gosh, coming down. I'm just half expecting the doorbell to go any minute. Yep, you're all chatting between yourselves. Hi, Essex Boys Outlaw. Not seen you for a little while. Bad Fairy, I've said hello to. Jeanette Henderson, hi. Thank you, Essex Boys Outlaw. Hi, Bad Fairy. Hi, Jill Hughes. Hi, Rose Petal. Everyone's wondering where Essex Boys are. It's nice to be missed, though, isn't it, Essex Boys Outlaw? You were missed, obviously. That's nice. Princess is back. Gosh. Pauline Smith. Hi, Pauline Smith. I said hello to Jill, I think. Gosh, quite a lot of you here. Hi, Heather. Better late than never. Yes, I hate the heat. You know what, Rose? I'm so sick of it. I can't even tell you. But it's a weird sort of muggy heat at the moment. We feel like we're going to have a storm, but we still haven't had a proper storm. Hi, Jim, a.k.a. Wombal. We always thought it was Wombat, but it's not. It's Wombal. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Maggie. Thank you, Princess. That's nice of you. Did you like this? Is instead of a tinfoil hat, because the tinfoil hat is too hot. And this case, you need something to keep your thoughts inside or protect you from, oh yeah, the dog's finally being quiet at the moment because they've just been told off. So we'll see what happens. It's all going to go chaotic. I know when the doorbell goes. I'm waiting for supermarket shopping. If you missed me saying that. Of course, hi Saskia. I hope you're feeling better. Love, hugs. I've forgotten what I was going to say then. I was just going to say something about the dog, but it's gone. It's completely gone because I'm working my way down here. Right. Yeah, so it has been quite nice in the mornings, quite a nice temperature and that, but as the day goes on, it just gets hotter and more muggy, etc. So yeah, this is to keep, I never know which way I'm supposed to be turning my head, keep my thoughts in or keep bad thoughts out, because these sort of cases, like the Jill Dando one, like the Nicola Bully one, like Elisa Lam, Jean-Benet Ram, I mean, I haven't got around to doing that yet. I have covered some Madeleine McCann. All those type of cases, you honestly, in the end, you just don't even know. Your head just goes completely. And that's what I'm wary of, my head going completely, because you just feel like you've got all this information coming in. And then when I started, I thought I knew a lot about this case because obviously it happened probably at a time, it resonated with me, the age that I was at the time. It was, she was like a Princess Diana type figure, wasn't she? Because she was like the girl next door. She was on Crimewatch. So poor Jill Dando, she was appearing on the programme Crimewatch week in, week out, talking about crimes, etc. She was in our living rooms, at a time when I used to watch the television. And so it was a big, it was a massive thing. It was just all over the news, wasn't it? And so, and I did know a lot about it, but, just even researching this now, over the past couple of days, I've learned so many things again that I didn't know really before, or maybe I did and I forgot. I probably didn't delve into it that deeply before. That's probably the reason for it. But yeah, let's have a look at her. Yes, exactly, Rose. Is the killer of Jill Dando still walking the streets, though? It's a very, very strange thing. The more you look, it's one of them. The more you look into it, the weirder it gets. But first, let's have a look at her. And you'll see she had a big resemblance to Princess Diana, Lady Diana, whatever you call her. Okay. Right, there it is. I've got, again, so many windows open because there's so many things I want to show you. So now there may be some of you that there's a lot of my viewers. There might be new subscribers. You might be from different countries where you don't know about Jill Dando. But this basically was her. She's got that Diana look, is it? Because she was from Diana era. Even her hair is similar. She always dressed nicely. She always looked elegant. She was like, but she wasn't like showy. She was like they called her the girl. Gosh, in this picture here, she looks very much like Diana. That dress. She was just like, everybody loved her. She was popular with men. She was popular with women. She was just one of those presenters, one of those famous people that everybody liked. And that's why it was such a shock, because in 1999, actually it was after Diana, because Diana died in 1997, didn't she? So on the morning of the 26th of April 1999, that's my dad's birthday, actually, she was shot dead outside her home. So she was literally at her front door with her keys in her hand, and she was shot once in the head, execution style. and died instantly. So she was an English journalist, television presenter, and newsreader. She worked for the BBC. Do you know the BBC's like? No, we always have bad things to say, don't we, about Russia, etc. But the BBC, do you know, it's like it's a hotbed for peas, and it's a hotbed for abuse. Oh gosh, I can't say these words because YouTube will demonetize me. They demonetize nearly every video that I do, but anyway, never mind. At the end of the day, I've just got to do the video from the heart. So yeah, if it's not bloody child lovers, if it's not like Russell Brand's or Hugh Edwards type people, what is going on at the BBC? What is going on, and how many more are there? And and this because I've got another video to make about Russell Brand. I'm still like over here. I need bloody tinfoil hat for him as well, because if the things I really do think that he did the things that they're saying he did, but what I don't understand is why did they protect these people? They all knew. They'll say, oh, it was an open secret. Everyone knew that he brought this 16-year-old girl, sent the BBC limo out or whatever, but why didn't anyone say anything? Nobody says anything until they're either dead or years later, because now he's not working for the BBC anymore. And so I sort of partly agree with what he's saying about, they've got it in for him. They have got it in for him, but that doesn't mean saying necessarily he didn't do those things. All it means is they've got it in for it, so now they've decided to talk about it. But anyway, I don't know. I've got a very conflicted opinion about that, and I've got another video coming out soon about that. So anyway, she was born in Somerset. She was just an ordinary girl in a way. But having said that, she was quite religious. She was a Baptist, and when she was only 3 years old, she had a hole in her heart, and she had to have heart surgery in 1965, which I didn't know. Anyway, she became a reporter, and then she moved on to the BBC, etc. Now, on the morning of the murder, she had been staying with her fiance, who was a gynecologist, Alan Farthing. Let's have a look at him. Because, there was a lot I didn't know about him, but I've learned while I've been... So this is him. This was her fiance at the time. Can you see? I'm not actually sure you can see that. No, you can't, so I've got to change that. I've got to put that on. So this was her fiance, Alan Farthing. She'd been staying at his house for the weekend, and off she went home. And it was when she went home, as she went into her front door, that she was shot. Now, something I didn't know that I found, there was one thing. He then later, he's a gynecologist, remember, he later then got a brilliant job in the royal family, and he delivered Kate's 2 children, William and Kate's. They got 3. He delivered 2 of them, I think. Let me just check. Don't know if he delivered all 3 of them. I don't know if I've got that here. I mean, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, he became the gynecologist for the Queen or for the royal household, and he definitely delivered at least 2 of Kate's children. I'm not sure if it was all 3 of them or not. Somebody in chat might know. So, that's a bit of it wasn't working for them before she was murdered, but after she was murdered, suddenly landed this fantastic job. Look, she looks like Diana there, doesn't she? He landed this fantastic job. I mean, you can't get much higher up, really, can you, than being the one of the gynecological team for the royal family? I mean, I don't expect you can climb much further on the ladder than that. I'm just looking, who's that? Is that Cliff Richard? Hang on, sorry. What happened there? Don't know what happened there. Is that Cliff Richard? Who is that? Oh, it's Cliff Richard. Well, well, well. There's a surprise. Anyway, don't get me going about Cliff Richard. So this is a lovely picture of her again, like she looks like Diana. So she'd been staying at her fiance's house at the weekend, for the weekend, I believe. Now, something I didn't know is that apparently, now this is on the free library. I don't know what the validity of it is. I'm just telling you what I'm reading here on this. It says murdered TV star Jill Dando's fiance came face to face with one of her assassins just before she was gunned down. So he said he thought nothing of the man sat in a Range Rover parked near his London house as he left for work on Monday. But when detectives told Dr. Farthing, in fact, I'll share this so that you can read it. But when detectives told Dr. Farthing they were hunting a mystery Range Rover, he recalled in horror he had seen it outside his house. And cops have told him they believe the dark-haired motorist was acting as a lookout for the gunman lurking outside Jill's nearby home. So a friend said last night, poor Alan went pale when he realised the connection. Now he is racked with guilt and remorse that he could have in some way stopped the murder if he had reported the car. Everyone has told Alan, especially the police, that he must not blame himself. There was no reason for him to be suspicious, but he cannot get over the fact that he may have come face to face with the killer. And then it says the man in the Range Rover is now thought to have been stalking Jill, 37, during the 9 days she spent at Dr. Farthing's luxury house in Chiswick, West London, before her death. Cops are convinced he then tipped off his accomplice via a mobile phone when she finally left in her blue BMW on Monday morning to return to her own home in nearby Gowan Avenue. They believe the driver was supposed to pick up the fleeing gunman after the shooting, but panicked and sped off instead. I mean, is this just a load of crap, or is this got any validity whatsoever? Jill was killed at 11:32 a.m. on her doorstep, and closed-circuit TV cameras filmed a blue Range Rover careering out of Donrayleigh Street opposite Gowan Avenue at 11:50. Right, that's quite a long time after the actual shooting, isn't it? If the shooting was 11:32, would they wait 20 minutes? Anyway, the car turned into Fulham Palace Road so fast it leaned over before roaring through a red traffic light on Putney Bridge. The number plate could not be made out, but a witness confirmed it was driven by a dark-haired man. And detectives revealed yesterday that a computer-generated e-fit of the photo of the gunman had prompted a flood of calls from members of the public. Scotland Yard spokesman said, "We have received more than 1,000 calls since the murder, but we can't give out any more information because this is an ongoing investigation." Oh gosh, and I didn't know about this. I must look that up. Jill's killing bears an uncanny resemblance to the murder of Karen Reid in Surrey 5 years ago, and cops believe she was mistaken for her sister Alison, a former BBC World Service producer. Anyway, so I don't know. That's something that I literally have come across while I've been researching for this, so I don't know how true that is. I have got a little bit of anecdotal information about this, which, as I say, I don't know is anecdotal. Hi, Maltese. Hi, Kelly. Hope I haven't missed anyone coming in while I was reading that out. I like to say hello to people, but I know you'll all say hello to each other. Now, well, what you're saying there, Essex Boys Outlaw, what happened was years ago, here, you know how they call Spain the Costa del Crime, because a lot of you know, be a lot of what's the word, gangsters, underworld characters, and there are a lot of underworld characters come to Spain, more to Marbella and those sort of places than anywhere else. But there was a guy who was touring around Spain doing like an evening with type thing. Now, I actually can't remember his name. He was an ex-gangster. He was, he'd been associated with the Cray twins. And I have actually met Frankie Fraser, who's a gangster. But anyway, I won't go into details because I don't want to get shot. So let's put it this way. And I'm glad I can't remember the name of this guy that was doing this an evening with whoever, because, I wouldn't mention his name anyway, but I couldn't remember his name. And I tried to look for it, but I can't see a name that resonates with me. But he sat and talked about his experiences, like with all the gangland of London and this, that, and the other. And he said, somebody asked him, what about Jill Dando? So I'd say this was about 15 years ago that this guy came round and did this talk that I went to, and somebody said to him, what about Jill Dando? Do you know anything about Jill Dando? And all he said was, let's just say she upset the wrong people. He didn't mention any names, he didn't say anything specific, and he might just have been trying to pretend that he knew what had happened to her. But he said something along the lines on, let's just say she upset too many people. That's what he said. So not as if it was like about getting close to the truth because of course she's reporting on crime every week. And believe me, when I worked in the betting shops in Manchester, I used to see a lot of my punters on Crimewatch, not for murder and RAP and things, but a lot of credit card fraud, drugs, things. Well, I never. Oh, here's the shopping. Right, okay, sorry, you're going to have to talk between yourselves a little bit. Come here, come here, come here. I don't know why they have to ring the bell twice like that, but luckily the dogs haven't barked. But I'm still here. I'll be back in a sec. In fact, I'm going to put it on mute in case I end up. Hi, Gojo. What did I tell you? I knew it would all happen when, as soon as I got into the live. Everything's going on now. But anyway, they're bringing the stuff in. So this guy, I've took my thing off until they go, because they'll think, what's she got that on for? She's dressed like she's going to a wedding. We're only delivering the shopping. Anyway, that's what he said, this guy. He just said, let's just say she's upset the wrong people. And that was it. So that's just a little bit of anecdotal evidence or anecdotal from a guy who was definitely involved in like the underworld in London. Right, hang on, they're coming. I've been to Malta. I love Malta. It's okay, no problem.
Where are you putting?
Aquí.
Okay. Madonna, you're fresh or frozen?
Vale, okay, thank you.
It's a pleasure, man.
It's just some shopping arriving.
It's frozen, ma.
Vale,
No,
hola.
it's fresh.
Sí, yeah,
Door,
hola.
door, and fresh mozzarella. It's fresh.
Okay.
Your kiss?
Ah, vale. Ah,
Yeah.
present. Gracias. Ah, muy bien.
I go to the guy that I tell 3 times.
Okay. Sí, que siempre
siempre la manía de bolígrafo.
¿Eso para mí?
Sí, esta para usted, esta para mí y esta para usted.
Ah, vale.
Vale.
Ya. Gracias. I'll let the dogs out the bathroom. Okay, that's it. Done. Got shopping. Vale, so I'll put my thing back on now. I hope I haven't missed anybody. So, Joe H. Hi, hola. I want to speak in Spanish now. And I noticed you're all talking about Malta. Hey, Riley, go on. Sorry. Go on. Go on. Up, up. Go on. No. Come here. Riley, come on. Come on. Good boy. Come on. Good boy. Up. Oh, Riley, come here. Come on. He's talking now. I knew everything was going to chaos. Well, up you go. Good boy. I just know, don't you? It's all going to be chaos. But anyway, so yeah, let me just, I hope I haven't missed anybody coming in. But yeah, I've been to Malta. It's very nice, but it was God years ago. So let's go back to Jill Dando. So yeah, that's what this guy said to me, but I don't know if it's true. Now, there were lots of theories, weren't there? What are your all theories about it? What do you all think happened to Jill Dando? Because there's so many, it's one of those, isn't it, where there's so many different theories. So the first one I'm going to look at is, of course, the poor guy who, well, if he's innocent, the poor guy, who actually got convicted for Jill's murder, didn't he? Barry George. Now, Barry George, what do you think about him? I can't decide if, hi Shelley, I can't decide if Barry George actually did do it or not. So it's a very strange one, isn't it? Because he was, he lived nearby, didn't he? And he was a bit of an odd guy, wasn't he? Oh, that's what they said. He had some, you know, he's a bit of a Walter Mitty character. He would go around, he would tell lies, etc. Anyway, he also, though, he had a very low IQ. So some people, so a lot of police officers, etc., said they didn't think he had the IQ to sort of plan it, etc. But he was convicted of murder. But later, the conviction was overturned. However, he has never received any compensation for that, because the judge said in the end, what was the actual, let me just see what the actual thing was that he said. So when he went for appeal anyway, he was acquitted and he was released from prison. But when he applied for compensation, the judge, Mr. Justice Irwin, well, there were two judges, Lord Justice Beatson and Mr. Justice Irwin, said there was indeed a case upon which a reasonable jury, properly directed, could have convicted the claimant of murder, and on the strength of this they denied him compensation for wrongful incarceration. So that strikes me as quite strange, really, because, you know, if he didn't do it, he deserves compensation. I mean, they've got to decide it. And if he's not going to get compensation because they're saying there was enough evidence to convict him, why was he released? I mean, did he do it or didn't he do it? They can't have it hard, you know, like, oh yeah, there's not enough evidence, so we're going to acquit him. But no, he can't have any compensation because there's enough evidence to prove that he could have done it. Seems strange that. Did you know that? I didn't know that he didn't get. So because he'd made a claim for £1.4 million compensation for his wrongful imprisonment, but he was given this judicial review, but they decided no, he couldn't have any compensation, which seems like a bit cruel, doesn't it, to be honest? But anyway, let me know what you think. Hi, Kelly Kerwin. Now, it could be what somebody just said there then in the chat. It could be because, Saskia, that more questions would be asked, you know, in that case, if they allowed him to, you know, I don't know. I mean, it all seems a little bit strange, and it seems like he was, you know, because he had a low IQ, he had learning difficulties, you know, and he was like, you know, to be fair, not quite all there. If you know, I know that's not a good way of putting it, but I don't know how else to put it. So did they, you know, someone who was perhaps a bit cleverer might have made a better presentation, but surely his lawyers would have dealt with his claims for him, you know. I don't know, it just seems ridiculous for me, to me, that you can acquit someone and say they're not guilty, but then when they apply for compensation for wrongful imprisonment, deny them any compensation. Doesn't match, does it? But anyway, there you go. So that was one theory, and I'm still, you know, I'm not sure. Maybe there was enough evidence, and maybe they think he did do it. So, you know, did he do it? But I think the general opinion at the time, or after the time, was that he wouldn't have been intelligent enough to do it. And then there was the way, because I don't think they ever found the weapon, though they did find some gunpowder residue, didn't they, in his pocket? But I think it was ages afterwards. It was you know, well, obviously the conviction was unsafe, because he wouldn't have been acquitted otherwise. I don't know. It just seems a bit strange to me that you can acquit someone but then not give them compensation for false imprisonment. Anyway, another theory, because there was quite a few theories, weren't there, about what had happened. Because at the time there was the war, wasn't there, between Serbia and Bosnia, and she had done some sort of she'd been done some sort of investigation into the war. The Yugoslav connection. Because in early 1999, the UK and NATO were involved in this is why you need the bloody tinfoil hat. So they were involved in the Kosovo war, opposing Serbia. So there was speculation, because there were quite a few telephone calls made after the murder to the BBC and other media outlets claiming responsibility for the killing on behalf of Serbian groups. And they said that the murder was revenge for the NATO bombing campaign in Serbia. And they threatened to kill others. Now, it's thought that they were hoaxes or they weren't credible, but it does seem more like, to be honest, to me, it seems more like likely in a way that it would be like an assassination, you know, because it was like an assassination, wasn't it? It was, you know, somebody just appeared out of nowhere, shot her in the head, killed her, disappeared, you know, more like an execution really than a crime of passion or anything like that. But who knows? This is what I mean. It's like, you know, getting your silver foil hat on. The defence barrister, Michael Mansfield, at Georgie's first trial, he proposed that the Serbian warlord Arkan had ordered her assassination in retaliation for the NATO bombing of the RTS headquarters. So again, you know, I honestly, I just don't know. It's just one of those will we ever know? So it was either, so there was Barry George, there was the Serbian connection, or the Yugoslav then it was connection. Then recently her brother, who has said he thought she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it could have just been somebody, you know, just walking past literally. You know, I just don't see that. Do you? You think somebody was just walking along that street, saw her go into a door, just happened to have a gun on him, and thought, oh, I think I'll just shoot that woman? I mean, maybe, but you know, does that seem likely? Does it seem likely to you? I don't think it seems that likely, but who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Now, of course, Barry George, the one that was incarcerated and later released, but with no compensation, he did have a history of stalking women. He had some sexual offences on his record, and also antisocial and attention-seeking behaviour. So, you know, he had some previous, if you like. Or was it, as that guy had said, as he, you know, doing that tour that I went to watch, the guy that did an evening with whatever his name was it just, you know, the underworld, like just fed up with things? Maybe she'd done a case on Crimewatch that particularly was personal to somebody, and somebody ordered that. I honestly just don't know. Or is it more than that? Is it what some people think, if you believe in the conspiracy theories, you know, was it that she got too close to whatever goes on at the BBC? Because we all know there's one scandal after another comes out there, isn't there? You know, it's just like, as soon as, you know, when you think about it, really, you know, you've got your Jimmy Savile that started it all, Rolf Harris, you've got Russell Brand now, you've got Hugh Edwards, you've got, it's one after the other, scandal after scandal, things going on. I mean, did she know something about that? You know, and then suddenly, then after that, her partner, he gets this fantastic job in the royal household as the gynecologist. Yeah, you couldn't make this crap up, to be honest. You know, it's like, if you didn't believe in conspiracy theories, which I personally don't in most things, occasionally I do, but the more you look into things, you do start to think, oh God, it is all a bit strange. Or is it just, that's just what happened? And, you know, is it what a brother said, that it was just somebody walking past, just happened to have a gun, just happened to see Jill Dando going into a house, and then just thought, oh, I think I'll just shoot her in the head? I honestly don't see that. Now, I'm coming back to the chat because I feel like I've left you for ages. 411, hi 411, hi Rini. Has Stuart been telling us what he's eating again? Hi Stuart. Yeah, what's on the menu tonight? You're famous now, Stuart, for you. It's Taco Tuesday, is it? Taco Tuesday. Oh, 411, nice to see you on here. A very 1920s, yes. This is the hot weather version of the tinfoil hat. Something to just keep the you know, keep the weird thoughts out, but I can't do the tinfoil because it's too hot here. Yeah, it may well have been Jimmy Savile who ordered it. Yeah. Gojo. Hi, Gojo. I'm not sure if I said hello to you. I think I did. Yes, they could have got confused with Lady Diana, couldn't they? You know, because, of course, then there was Lady Diana as well. Thanks for 11. You're loving the Charleston look. Oh, Joe H. Ah. Right, I'll just make sure I haven't actually missed saying hello to anyone. Well, I want to say to you, because I know there'll be other people out there. Not everybody participates in the chat. I know that some people are a bit, I do it sometimes on other YouTube channels. You sort of lurk a little bit. I know that sounds sinister. It's not sinister. Just you don't want to sort of, some people don't want to say something. It can be a bit scared of saying something or whatever reason. So I want to say hello to all you as well, people that are out there that aren't actually participating in the chat, but thank you just for being and watching. And don't forget to like. That's the most important thing, isn't it? So now, on Netflix, coming up on Netflix is this new documentary. Now, apparently in the documentary, they are going to be interviewing Barry George, which I don't know if I showed the pictures of him, actually. Let me put him up. I don't think I did share the photos of him. So this is Barry George. This is the guy. This is him now. This was him then. Of course, he served time in prison. You know, I mean, it seems unfair that he's not received any compensation. If he is not the killer, I mean, if he's the killer, why was he let out? And if he isn't the killer, why is he not had compensation? You know, I don't understand, bless him. You know, I'm saying bless him. I mean, he could be the killer, but he's not the killer because he's been acquitted. So technically, he's not the killer. We can't think of him as the killer. So he should have had his compensation. You know, if he spent all those years in prison. Seems unfair, doesn't it? Bless him. I hope he's made a life for himself again. Who's this? Has he got married? Let's see. Barry George, first interview for 5 years. Let's just have a look. So let me see. In this, when was this? Oh, it's his sister. It's his sister. So this interview, which was in 2013, so this was 10 years ago. I hope I live long enough to find out who really murdered Jill Dando. And he says that the police targeted him because his life was disposable and the pressure was on to solve the presenter's high-profile death. I mean, I would go along with that. You know, the police, they had to find someone. So he says even when he was cleared at a 2008 retrial, he claims he was followed by officers around the clock and stopped and searched dozens of times before fleeing to Ireland with his sister in fear that he would be fitted up again. And despite spending 8 years in a jail for a crime he did not commit, Barry, 53, was told last week he would not get a penny of compensation as he was deemed not innocent enough. Now, is it just either you're innocent or you're not, mate? You know, if they think he was probably guilty, then they shouldn't have let him out. I don't get this at all. His legal team have launched a campaign to fight the decision, but we've just seen that actually it was upheld. He never received any compensation. And this reporter says, meeting the man himself in a central London hotel, it's difficult not to be moved by his story. In a cheap, ill-fitting suit and white socks, he initially hides behind sunglasses, ironically made by the brand police. So he suffers from brain damage, Asperger's syndrome and epilepsy. he does not fit. See, this is what a lot of people said, that he couldn't have done it because it was too cold-blooded, too precise, too much like, you know, too much like a professional assassin, a professional hit. So that's why a lot of people thought he just couldn't, he wasn't, you know, and it sounds awful, but he wasn't intelligent enough to have done it. So despite an intense gaze, Barry instead comes across as a clumsy buffoon, incapable of carrying out simple tasks because of his mental difficulties and an IQ of 75. With huge hands and fingers like chipolatas, he spills tea down himself as we talk, while mayonnaise is lathered across his chin. But the prosecution led us to believe he was the man who shot Jill with a specially modified gun, got rid of the weapon, and did not leave a trace of evidence. Now, apparently, so he goes on to say that because somebody was seen in the area, but no witnesses could pick him out in the... you know, they did an identity parade, didn't they? But nobody picked him out. And it says the pistol was pressed so tightly to Jill's head that it muffled the sound, and the killer left no clues except for the bullet. It had been expertly crimped into its cartridge by hand. Wait, it's got to be a professional assassin then, hasn't it? And apparently he was convicted on this minute particle of gunpowder found in his pocket, but years later this was discredited. Oi, oi! No, good girl, good girl. There was something else. I thought I saw something else. So, what do we think? Is Barry George guilty? And if he's not guilty, why haven't they given him compensation? Oh, that's right. They said that police also wanted to question him about the rape of a 16-year-old girl on the Isle of Wight. Although they admitted he was not a suspect, he feared they would charge him falsely. Well, do you know what? We haven't got any faith in the police, have we, unfortunately? I never thought I would ever say that. You know, I always sort of, you know, I was brought up to, you know, respect the police. I was brought up to turn to the police when you needed help. But, you know, as time goes on, you think, nah. Hi, Neil Clark. I haven't missed anybody else, have I, while I was chatting then? I don't think I have missed anyone in. Yeah, I've got, you know, I honestly, Cliff Richard, you just wonder what's going to come out about him one day. Oh, thank you, 411. Hi, Peter James. Unfortunately, you've come in just as I'm coming to the end. So, but yeah, I'm surprised that I did get through it okay, even with the chaos of the shopping being delivered. Do you know, I almost dread doing a live now, because I just think, what's going to happen? Is there going to be a storm? Is there going to be bangers going off? Is the dog going to break a bottle of wine? Is the shopping going to arrive? It's just like always something, you know, going on. But do you know, Stuart, you're right. Thank God we haven't got the death penalty, because that could have been the end of him, couldn't it? He could have been hung for that, and then later what would he be given? A posthumous pardon? But he hasn't been pardoned. Oh, so what I wanted to say, look at, if you watch Netflix or whatever, probably shouldn't be plugging Netflix. Probably YouTube won't like that either, because I noticed they don't like. That's why I didn't mention Netflix in the title, because they don't like it when you mention other like rival sort of things. I've noticed that before. They're straight on that. But of course, you know, they'll probably pick up on this in the video and throw me off. But so it's coming out within the next couple of days, this new Netflix documentary. And, you know, they do very good documentaries, don't they? You know, I've watched some really good documentaries on there, and They just do. And Barry George is interviewed on there, so I've seen that they did get an interview with him. I'm dying to watch it because I'd like to see him actually speak and get an idea of a feeling of him, of what I think, because I just don't know if he's guilty or not, because I don't understand. Is that the reason why they haven't paid him compensation? Because then they'd have to find who did do it then. And that could lead to, too many questions. So, yeah. What do we think? So I think real life, yeah. What's generally, can I do, I don't know how to do, what's your general opinions? Let me know in comments, and also after the live's finished, let me know. Is it Barry George, random assassin, the Serbians, the sort of, the elites, the royal family and your Cliff Richards sort of thing? What do we think? What most people, it's right what you say, Essex Boys Outlaw. A lot of so all my shopping's on the floor in the living room, so the German Shepherd's got a nose in every bag now, looking to see if there's anything interesting in there. Bless her. So there you go. You like this? I've got a shortage of hats. I'm going to get some more hats because I like them. But I just don't. I've got one more hat somewhere that I've not worn on a video, but I put it away because it's like a winter hat. I've been bitten by mosquitoes. Anyway, so you didn't think it was Barry George, Bad Fairy? No, I honestly don't know. It's why I'll get my tin foil hat on. It's like my head hurts. I just don't know. I'm looking forward to watching this documentary tomorrow and see if it gives me any, other. Then somebody said because her co-host, whatever happened to him? Was it Nick Owen? Is that his name? Nick Owen, the co-host. Anyway, he's been very quiet lately as well. Looking lovely, yeah. I did take this off when the guy arrived with the shopping because I want him to think I'm dressing up for him to come and bring the shopping. It does say, I personally think it was a professional hit. I don't think it was Barry George. Because I know he had all, he's a strange guy, but that was what they did with Christopher Jeffries. That's another case I've got to cover at some point. They pick on the straight, and it's not the social media that do it; it's the mainstream media that do it. Pick on the weirdo. Colin Stagg was another one in the Rachel Nickel case. That this was being done before social media even existed, so they can blame it on social media. It's not social media, it's mainstream media that do that. Find a likely suspect that thinks a bit of a weirdo, and then they just don't leave them alone. So I think that's what happened with Barry George. Seems to me it might have been the Serbians, because that was you forget sometimes. The war, when that war was going on, and feelings were high, that could happen now, couldn't it, with the Ukraine and Russia war, etc. So tomorrow I will be doing another video on. I was going to do another live tonight. There's some things I want to show you about the Russell Brand issue, and I know that's another issue that's very polarizing. You've got the ones, it's like the very strong feelings that people have got about it. So, very strong. So, some people very much in favor of him, other people very much against him. So I wanted to present some things that I sort of found and some things that people sent me that, to be honest, have confused me even more. But anyway, that I will be doing that tomorrow. There will be a video coming out. Right, you're all just flirting on here now. Anyway, I'm off. So thank you so much for watching. Sorry again about all the chaos. It didn't end up being as bad as I thought it was going to be. Look out for the Netflix documentary. And I'll see you really soon. Remember to always live and love very carefully. Don't upset any Serbians, for God's sake. And I will see you really soon. I've got to put this on, haven't I, for the goodbye. Don't let your head hurt too much with all these conspiracy theories. Remember to live and love very carefully. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God always go with you. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you for the memberships. Thank you to those that have sent me a super chat or a Ko-fi or a PayPal. Thank you so much. Night, night. Oh, night, Peter. Yeah.